By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to build an app as a complete beginner. And by beginner, I don't mean any technical language or anything like that. I mean someone who's never wrote a line of code in their life. They probably never even used these AI tools before. And you may have only used ChatGPT, but I promise you, you're going to have a live working app that's going to be published and out there for people to use by the end of this video. So just to show you an example, this is an app I built earlier, a little bit like art attack. Here's one I made earlier. But this is a Spanish pronunciation app, so you can literally speak into this thing like this. Hola, ¿cómo estás hoy?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Suena muy claro.
Okay, so what this app basically does is you pronounce something in Spanish, it's a Spanish tutor, it rates every word, your pronunciation on it, it then gives you an explanation in Spanish and in English, and even gives you lessons and different modules to do. And I built this thing in about 20 minutes, probably about 20-30 minutes, and I did it without writing a single line of code. I'm going to show you how you can do exactly the same. So the first thing we need to do, and what I like to do, is speak to ChatGPT. So I will usually go to ChatGPT and then use this voice function here, and I'll outline my idea for an app. So I'm going to do it on my phone to show you. And we're going to be using Claude Code to use this. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'm just going to mention this for ChatGPT so it knows how to structure the prompt that I want. Hi ChatGPT, I want to create a Spanish tutor app. So basically, I will speak in Spanish to it, like the voice interface where I'm speaking to you now. It will rate my pronunciation of the word, each word that I say in Spanish. It will then give me an audio reply in Spanish and in English, and the app will also have different lessons and stuff. So it'll have a course section where it'll teach me different words. It'll be a voice or audio first app. So I want you to give me the prompt for this that I can build inside Claude Code. And then that's going to give me a prompt inside the chat, and this was the chat I actually used. So I went a little bit back and forth, adding features, and you can do this for whatever idea you want. And it basically said to me, you need a few core functions. So you need the API, which is just a way that ChatGPT can speak to different apps, so don't get too caught up over the meaning API. And it also needs to be able to connect to something called a phonetic alphabet. A phonetic alphabet is how we break words down, so it'd be like oh, la, ah. Like, that's the worst explanation possible. But basically, it can compare how we pronounce something to the Spanish phonetic alphabet and see if we pronounced it correct. So they were the features it come up with. And it also come up with a learning section, which I mentioned, whereas basically we can just, spitball into it, give it our own words, whatever we want. But we can also have a section where it's going to give us words to say to it, and it's going to correct our pronunciation on it. So it gave me the outline, and this is what I end up coming up with. And don't worry if this looks a bit like weird to you or anything. I just asked it to give it in a markdown format, which is basically just a way of structuring it. If you imagine with like bullet points, that it's easier for AI to understand. You don't need to know markdown. You literally just say to ChatGPT, give me the prompt in markdown structure. And this is because the Claude Code app that we're going to use in a minute likes it in this structure. So give me this app basically with the outline of the entire thing. Now, next what we need to do, we're going to use something called Claude Code to build this app. Now, this is not 100% crucial, but this is definitely the best thing out there for building apps. And you don't need to know code or anything for this. You can speak to it like you're speaking to ChatGPT, and this is going to write all the code for you and build a perfect app. So in order to get Claude, it is a paid service. I think it's about £20 a month for the basic plan, and that is by far enough to actually build this app. So the free version doesn't include Claude Code, which is what we're going to use to build this app. You've got Claude, if you imagine it's like ChatGPT, use it on your laptop, use it on your phone, and you've got Claude Code, which is something that we use inside the laptop in an app that's built for your either Windows computer or your Mac, and it's called Terminal, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but don't get lost, trust me, super simple. So you're going to need this Pro subscription here at least, which is $17 a month, so definitely worth it. If you want to build apps, it's absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. So you're going to go to this website to get it, so it's claude.com, product, Claude-code. And the first thing we need to do is install Node.js. Now, Node.js, don't let this confuse you or anything. It's just a language that this software uses to run. It's just a form of like coding language, but you don't need to know it. We just need to have it installed as a package on our computer. So we click on that link, you're going to press download, and then you're going to have it on your computer. It might ask you to install it or something, but you would literally just click on it and install this thing. Then once you've got that downloaded, you're going to copy this command here. And if you're on a Mac, you're going to go to an app called Terminal. I think it might be called Terminal as well on a Windows computer, but I'm not too sure. So you're going to go to Terminal, and then you're going to copy and paste this command here. And then you might have some errors come up like this. Now, I already have this installed, but if you don't have this installed, it still might come up with errors. So all you would do is you're going to copy these errors like that, and then you're going to go back to Claude, which you'll now have a subscription for. So we just go to Claude, and Claude is basically going to tell you exactly what to do. So this cuts out any need for understanding what these errors are, because that can look quite technical. And don't get scared at this right now. This might scare you because it looks a bit like codey and it looks like a difficult thing to do. I promise you, once you get past this point, there's no coding or anything, and we use AI to actually read all this thing for us. We don't need to understand what any of this means at all. But we're going to go to Claude. I'm going to say, I'm trying to install Claude Code on my terminal, and it's coming up with these errors. And you're going to paste in what is showing you in your terminal, and it's going to tell you the next steps to install this thing, which is absolutely brilliant, because I don't know what that means. You won't know what that means, but this thing knows perfectly what you need to do. Mine's already installed, so this is going to be a little bit different, but what it's going to tell you to do is you would literally just copy these, you paste them into here, you run it, it might come up with another error, so then you paste the next thing, and then you'll know when it's been launched because it'll come up with something that looks like this. So you'll see a screen that looks like this. Now this is in a different platform, this in Cursor, but this same screen here, this orange box, will show up in your terminal here, and it'll say welcome to Claude. It might ask you to do your login details, you might need to log in, it'll just redirect you to the web page, but then this is installed, and that's all that matters. Now, once you've got that installed, you will then need to go to the app called Cursor. So we're going to go to Cursor, and you're going to install this on your Mac or on your Windows computer. And if you imagine, this is just a way that we can look at what it's building a little bit easier. So this little terminal box is actually quite difficult to look at because it's quite small. You can't really see the files or anything in it. So what Cursor does is it opens up this interface for us on a computer where we can see everything that the AI is building inside here. And we can also ask questions with it, like we're speaking to ChatGPT here. So this is like, we can switch between GPT-5, all these different AI models and LLMs to ask questions about what it's building. But mainly we're going to be using Claude Code to build it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So once you've installed Claude, so I'm just going to X out of this and quit this so we can start from fresh. You're going to open up the app, and then we're going to go to File. And then once you've installed the app, it might show you a screen which is like, it's going to take you through steps, through questions. You also say create new folder. So you're going to go new folder and you're going to call it app test. And then once we do that, we're going to open it, and it's going to open you up a fresh page, and your cursor page is going to look like this. Now, what we need to do here is I'm going to scroll up to the top here where it says terminal. We're going to go new terminal. Sometimes when you first install Cursor, it's going to ask you to install Claude again on this terminal, but if you just installed it, then it should show up. So all you would need to do is type Claude and then press enter, and this is going to run it for you. If it says error or nothing works for you, you're just going to do this process again with Claude Code. So you're going to take this command, you're going to copy it in here like that. You're going to press run. It's going to give you these errors. You're going to put that back in Claude, say what's the error. You're going to copy and paste the answers that it gives you, and then this thing's going to run. So for me, I'm just going to press Claude because I already have it installed. You're going to press yes, proceed, and then this thing is ready to go. Now, if you imagine this box is a bit like speaking to ChatGPT, but when we speak to this thing, this is going to build an app for us inside Cursor. And now simply all we need to do is go and get the prompt that ChatGPT gave us before. So here's my pre-made prompt that I've created with ChatGPT. I'm going to copy this in to Claude, and you'll have whatever app you want to use. But basically this app, I said I want it to look like the voice interface with ChatGPT. So if you ever use voice mode, I want it to look like a bit like that. And it's going to have the feature of being able to score a pronunciation out of 100%. So we're going to copy and paste this prompt. We're going to go to this bar inside Cursor. I'm going to paste it. It's going to come up like this. You won't see the text, which is quite useful. It just says how many lines you copy and paste in rather than showing you a huge prompt that you have to scroll through. We're going to press enter, and we're going to let this thing run in the background. Now, while this is running, I'm going to show you how we actually save this thing properly, or how we actually get this thing live. So next we need to create a GitHub account. Now, if you imagine, GitHub is a bit like Google Drive for apps or for code, to put it that way. So we'll let that run. And you will, what I would recommend as well, when this comes up with these bash commands like this, these are just like press yes to proceed. Just always press the yes, don't ask again, otherwise it's going to keep asking you every 2 seconds. I'm just going to press yes, enter, and you will need to check on this because it's going to come up with a few of these. So you'll just need to go back onto it and press enter to keep it running. But while that's going in the background, we're going to go to something called GitHub. Now, with GitHub, you can just sign up with your email address. So when you do, sign up with your Google email, and then we're going to create a new repository. So you're going to see this button, we're going to go to new, and we're going to call this app test like we did with the folder on Cursor. I'm going to create the repository. We're going to leave everything as it is, and this is like our Google Drive for the code essentially. Now once we've made that, we're going to have a URL here, so we're going to need this later. So keep this page open. this URL, we literally just drop this into Cursor and say, save all this code to GitHub. So then we've got this code just in a Google Drive, essentially live on the internet, where we can access this even if we're not on our computer. Now we're going to go back to this because it's going to allow us, it's going to ask for us to just keep pressing yes to actually proceed and build this thing. So I'm going to let this thing run. On yours, you would just keep pressing yes, yes, yes until this thing is built. So when it's built, I'm going to come back to you. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll check in on this thing when it's done. So it's finished building the app now. What we can do is just press Command, click on this, or if you don't know how to do that, you can literally just type in here, open app, and it's going to open it inside your browser for you. So I'm just going to press Command, and I'm going to click on this where it says localhost because it's on a local server, and it has built this thing absolutely perfectly. So this is insane, and we can even test this out again. So, hola, ¿dónde estás hoy?
Donde hola es clara.
I had it on mute.
En donde estás, recuerda que la V debe ser suave.
And that thing is ready to go. Now comes the next step. So we're going to show you how to get this thing live, because right now this is on a local server, which means you can only use this thing on your personal computer. No one else can access this. So what we need to do now is push this code to GitHub. So before, when I showed you how to sign up to GitHub, we're going to use that link in a second. But first off, just while we're in Cursor, I'm just going to do a quick explanation because I don't want this to confuse you or anything. It's super simple. I swear to God, once you use this a couple of times, it'll become so easy to you. It's just like using the texting app on your phone. This I barely ever use, but you can ask questions without using up your tokens. So bear in mind, with Claude Code, you can only ask around 45 messages a day with the £20 a month plan or $17 a month plan. So be selective, make sure you're asking the right questions, don't waste your tokens. But we can ask unlimited questions in this bar here. So use this one to build the code. If you're not sure, you want to ask a question about how to prompt better, use this bar on the side. Here, you don't need to do anything with these, but when it writes the code, these are like the folders that it saves each part of the code into. You don't need to do anything with them, but this is just visually so we can see that it's creating these folders and it's saving the code to our computer, to that folder that we called app test earlier. Now, we need to put this code in GitHub so we can access this, not just from our personal computer, but we can access this anywhere. So we're gonna go back to GitHub. I'm gonna get rid of all these tabs as well. And when we made the repository, so we press new repository, which I showed you before, it's gonna give you this URL. So we're gonna drop this in here, and we're gonna say to Claude, we're gonna say push all the code to this GitHub repo, which is short for repository. Now there is a command to actually do this, but I can't remember what it was. It's something super simple like /GitHub or something. But we're just gonna do this manually to keep this simple, so you don't have to remember any shortcuts or commands. We're just gonna push all this code to the GitHub repo. It's going to do that now, so it's going to save it all to this GitHub repository that we called app test. Now we need to do the last step, which is Vercel. Now Vercel, imagine it's like the domain website. This is where we host the app. This is where it gives us a public URL meaning like website address that we can give to other people so they can go and have a little play around with this app and use this app. Also, one last thing before we do this with Vercel I did need to mention is if you're building an app like this, I'm just going to press yes on this, by the way. But if we're building an app like this, it requires access to a ChatGPT or Google model or anything like that. You're going to need an API key. So I used OpenAI for this. I haven't shown it in the video because it would expose my API key. But all you do to get an API key is you go to platform.openai, this one here. You're going to go to API key section here, and you will need to put a little bit of credit on your account. I put like $10 on this about a year ago, and I've still not gone through it. And I've built multiple apps, so honestly, just put $5, $10 on it. And then you're going to press create new API key, and then it's going to give you a long code like this. You can't see it all. You're just going to name it app test, take the code, and you literally just drop it into Claude Code. You just paste it in and say use this API key. As simple as that. Now we're just going to proceed with this. You're going to have to do this yourself. You're going to proceed. It's going to push this all to GitHub now. Now let's go make our Vercel account. So we go to Vercel. Now, to sign up for Vercel, I'm already logged in, but I'm just going to log out to show you. You just want to sign up with your GitHub account. So it gives you the option when you're on the homepage here to continue with GitHub. Now, because we've just made the GitHub account, if we sign up with our GitHub account to Vercel, this makes things so much easier. It just connects everything together. But I'm just going to log back in. So once we're logged into Vercel, you're going to see this. So you're going to go to projects, like here at the top here. So it'll say your name. And because our GitHub is connected to Vercel, you're going to see this folder that we just made in GitHub with all the code in. So it's going to make sure that this has push. You have to keep pressing yes on Claude. It's the only thing you have to do. It's not too much to keep pressing enter and you get a whole app out of it. So we're going to go to import. So we're going to import this into Vercel from GitHub. Super simple, it does it all for you. We're going to keep it as app test. We're going to leave these as they are, and we're going to press deploy. And then because this is all connected, that is pretty much it. So this is live, but if your GitHub account and Vercel aren't connected, all we can do to connect them is we can go to our icon in the top here, we can go to account settings, we're going to go down to tokens like this, and then we're going to create a new token. So we're just going to leave it, we're going to call the token app test, we're going to leave the scope as full account, and then the expiration date doesn't matter. I like to leave mine on 30 days. It's going to give you a code, you're going to copy and paste that code, and then you're just going to paste it in here, and then it's going to connect everything up for you automatically. Simple as that. And in Vercel, we now have a website address where we can actually view this app that we've just built. So let's have a little look. We're going to my projects here. We're going to press view, and we should be able to use that app that I've just built before. So let's have a little look. So if we go to this section where it says deployments, we go to this one, which is the latest one. If we just click on this here, we can go and visit, click the link, and we have our thing working here and ready to go. So your app is now published. Now, this is saying failed because the issue here, and this is the absolute last step, I promise, is because we used an API key, which is like, imagine like your password, this needs to be kept secret. So for the last thing, we need to go to settings, and then we need to go to this section here that says environment variables. Now, environment variables, you imagine that this is like a folder where we can hide our passwords, and we need that password to run the app. So what we would do is we'd go to get our API key from OpenAI, we'd paste it in here and then paste the name of it as well. And then we would just save this, and we can just say to Claude as well, you will reference the API key from the EMV, which stands for environment folder inside Vercel. And this is going to know then to, in order to use or speak to a large language model or ChatGPT or whatever you're using, it's going to reference that key to get access to it inside the Vercel app. And the reason for this is because you don't want everyone having your access to your OpenAI key, because this is like having everyone knowing your password. So you want to keep that secret. And when you're deploying this live, anyone can use this. So therefore, there is extra security measures, which is hiding your API key. So you can either ask Cursor to say, you know, put this in a local environment, but when you deploy it, the best way to do it, using Vercel, is go to settings, go to environment variables, and put your API key in here. Tell Cursor to reference this API key, and you're going to have a live working app that's ready to go. And it is as simple as that. So to summarize, you're going to install Cursor, you're going to go up here, you're going to press terminal, new terminal, you're going to put your Claude command in, npx Claude, you're going to, if you get any errors, copy and paste them into Claude, say, what do I need to do next? It's going to give you the command, put that in until Claude is running, it might ask you to log in. You're then going to go to ChatGPT, or you can even use Claude to do this. Speak to it, ask it the idea for the app you want to build. It's going to give you the whole prompt to build it. Paste this into Cursor, keep pressing enter when it tells you to press yes. Then you're going to go to GitHub, create a new repository, get the URL, put it in Cursor, it's going to connect it to your GitHub, and then you're going to go to Vercel, you're going to go to your tokens, create new token, you're going to put it in, and then this is all going to be connected, and you're going to have a live URL with your live app on. So I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.